Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this update. Squarespace makes it easy to create your own website and own your own corner of the internet. We're even using Squarespace for our gift guide this year, which you should absolutely check out, and we'll link it in the description.
You can start your free trial today and get 10% off your first purchase at squarespace.com/theknow.
Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley.
I'm Mica.
It looks like Patreon heard from a lot of angry creators over the past few days, and also from the people who give them money.
Yes.
Because the crowdfunding platform announced today that it's scrapping a plan to charge donors a fee for every creator they support. Oh, and the company wants you to know it's very sorry.
Yes, just a few days after announcing the super controversial plan, Patreon founder Jack Conte apologized in a blog post today literally titled, "We messed up."
Well, at least they're straightforward about it.
Yeah, Conte admitted that his company got it wrong and said the fee change will not be implemented.
He also said that Patreon still plans to make some changes when it comes to its payment system, but that it's going to work with creators to come up with solutions this time, which
wow, what
I think
concept.
Everyone can agree that might be a better solution.
Yeah. As for the way the rollout was handled, Conte wrote, "Many of you lost patrons and you lost income. No apology will make up for that, but nevertheless, I'm sorry. It is our core belief that you should own the relationships with your fans. These are your businesses and they are your fans."
All right, so a bit of background about what happened.
Yeah.
Ironically, it all started, at least according to Patreon, as a way to help creators keep more money from their donors, but that went sour really quickly.
If you've never heard of Patreon, it's probably the most popular subscription crowdfunding platform for artists and creatives who support themselves courtesy of direct contributions from fans.
Think of it as like a Kickstarter or crowdfunding, except on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And to fund itself, Patreon currently takes a processing fee from each pledge before it gets to the creators. So if you pledge $2 a month to someone, that creator might eventually see $1.80 of that money. But the problem, according to Patreon, was that in the past, a creator's income on Patreon varied because of processing fees every month.
To try and fix that, Patreon last week announced a solution of sorts. Starting on December 18th, patrons would start paying a 2.9% fee plus 35 cents for each individual pledge.
That adds up.
Yeah, it does. And again, that was a way, according to Patreon, to let creators keep more money. The problem is that it made small pledges like $1 or $2 a month a lot more expensive, and say you were pledging to $25 patrons, like that's a lot of charges.
Yeah, if you had 10 patrons a month, you supported at $1 each because, hey, you're on a budget.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that got much more expensive. Everyone hated this idea pretty much. Patrons who supported multiple creatives revolted over the idea of being charged an additional fee for every separate creator. Lots of creators were mad that the extra fees would drive away their supporters.
And it turns out they were 100% right, because lots of patrons started pulling their support from creatives and specifically mentioned the fees as a reason why. The internet's not going to be shy about letting you know when they're mad about something.
No. In his post on the Patreon blog, Conte said he spent hours on the phone with creators and said that their feedback was crystal clear.
Yeah, he summed it up this way. The new payment system disproportionately impacted $1 to $2 patrons.
Which is the bulk of patrons.
Exactly. We have to build a better system for them. Aggregation is highly valued, and we underestimated that. Fundamentally, creators should own the business decisions with their fans, not Patreon. We've overstepped our bounds and injected ourselves into that relationship against our core belief as a business.
And that probably gets to the heart of the anger that a lot of people had. It's because the new fees meant they had to deal with the middleman, and it made Patreon much more visible in the process, which no one wants. Part of the deal with Patreon is that it enables a more direct connection between fan and artist, with fans pledging a monthly fee and artists giving them a whole bunch of goodies or rewards for doing so.
I saw so many artists saying that they would eat the fee themselves to have Patreon stop this change. It's really about that intimate connection between artists and patron.
Well, and it's what everyone's been very accustomed to, because
Right.
it's the way it's been working so far.
Conte wrote, "We recognize that we need to be better at involving you more deeply and earlier in these kinds of decisions and product changes. Additionally, we need to give you a more flexible product and platform to allow you to own the way you run your memberships."
So it looks like the artists are going to want to make some kind of changes to the payment system, but hopefully in a more collaborative way this time, which is probably what they should have done the first time, but better late than never, I guess. At least they didn't lose all the patrons this way, just a lot of them.
Gandhi added, I know it will take a long time for us to earn back your trust, but we are utterly devoted to your success and to getting you sustainable, reliable income for being a creator. We will work harder than ever to build you tools, functionality, and income, and our team won't rest until Patreon is making that happen.
So far, the early response from social media seems to be pretty positive about this rollback, but there are now some, of course, asking if Patreon's gonna compensate them for the lost business.
And it's a lot of lost business. I saw so many lost patrons. The writer Brie May tweeted to Patreon, "Thank you. Now let's talk about recouping damages in the form of lost patrons because creators were honest with their patrons about how the fees would affect them." Patreon responded and asked her to send some feedback.
Although I gotta be honest, it's not gonna happen.
No.
The comics artist and writer Kate Leth tweeted, "Well, goddamn, now can I get my 75 patrons back?" Patreon responded to that saying sorry isn't enough, but regardless, we're so sorry that we lost you patrons. We're taking ideas about what we can do to help creators bring back lost patrons.
To which she responded, maybe don't make sweeping financial changes without consulting the people who use your service. Just a thought.
So maybe still a little bit of soreness
A
there.
little bit better.
Now some are wondering if the backlash against Patreon will ultimately hurt the creators who use it to make a living.
The illustrator Elizabeth Simmons, who also has a Patreon, told the Washington Post, "My main concern has been that the tide will turn so negatively against Patreon that well-intentioned people will think that they're doing the right thing by dropping their pledges in protest. That will super harm the many independent artists who benefit from the platform and have no control over its policies, problematic though they might be." And
the popular podcast Chapo Trap House tweeted, "Patreon is no longer hiking fees, so you can stop unsubscribing from creators to send a message."
So yeah, there's still a big mess for Patreon to clean up, and with rival services like Drip set to roll out next year, they better get on their shit.
Yeah, they have the luxury of being one of the only types of sites doing what they do right now, and by far the biggest, but when there's more competition, they won't be able to make these kinds of mistakes without bleeding a lot of creators who will leave to a competing service.
And in the end, it's not about the service, it's about the artist that you're supporting, so people don't care about the platform, they care about what they're getting from it.
Yes, and the change they wanted to make, there was one upside that I'll be curious to see if they can get in there, which is they were changing the fee timing so that it would happen on the anniversary of someone's subscription every month rather than maybe collating a whole bunch of them all at one time to minimize the processing fees. So if they can find a way to do that, but not charge everyone a huge fee for each creator every month, that'd be great.
We'll be golden.
Yeah, what do you guys think of Patreon backing down when it comes to its new fees? Is it saved? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your crowdfunding news, be sure to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to The Know.
Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this update. Squarespace is an awesome platform for building your own website, whether you want to create an online store or a blog or a portfolio. Whatever it is, Squarespace has you covered.
You can instantly install one of their award-winning designer templates, customize it to meet your needs, and get it out there. No need to worry about patching or upgrading or installing anything. It's all done for you.
Even though we have our own website as well, we actually still use Squarespace too. We are actually using it this year to build and host our gift guide. And that was before they sponsored this update. So if you want to see what a simple implementation looks like and get some real sweet gift ideas for gamers or movie nerds, or I mean, we got stuff for like Zelda and Fallout and Golden Girls and and Stranger Things, all kinds of stuff. You can multitask and do both at giftguide.roosterteeth.com.
Having used it ourselves, it's super easy and it's super straightforward to set up and get situated, and you can have some rockin' website instantly.
Easy. You can give it a go with a free trial, and if you decide to upgrade, you get 10% off your first purchase at squarespace.com/theknow.